You ever sit back and wonder, why does it feel like everyone else is moving forward, while I'm still waiting? You're praying, you're doing the inner work, you're aligning your life, but somehow, someone else gets the opportunity. Someone else gets the breakthrough. Someone else steps into the very thing you've been preparing for. And if you're honest, it can start to feel confusing, even frustrating, because it looks like delay. It feels like silence. It feels like you've been overlooked. But listen carefully. What you are calling delay, heaven calls sequencing. Welcome to Worldwide Truth Ecumenical Movement, where we don't interpret life from surface-level appearances. We discern patterns, timing, and truth beyond what is visible. Because today, you are going to understand something that will completely shift how you see your season. You are not behind. You are being built. And if you don't understand that, you will misinterpret your preparation as punishment. There is something most people never realize about divine order. Everything is timed according to capacity, not desire, not effort, not comparison, capacity. Because the assignment you are asking for has a weight to it. And if that weight is placed on a soul that is not ready, it does not elevate them. It crushes them. This is why what looks like being passed over is often protection, not rejection. Because if you were elevated too early, with the same mindset, the same emotional patterns, the same internal instability, the very thing you prayed for would become the very thing that breaks you. So instead of asking why them and not me, the better question becomes, what is being built in me right now that is necessary for what is coming? Because there is an architecture to your waiting. There is a structure to your hidden season, and it is not empty. It is active. Even when it feels still. This is where most people misunderstand their journey. They think waiting means nothing is happening. But in truth, waiting is where the most important transformations occur. Because it is in the unseen that your foundation is formed. And foundation is everything. You can build something quickly on a weak foundation, but it will not last. And heaven is not interested in temporary success. It is interested in sustainable alignment. So the gap between the promise and the manifestation is not wasted time. It is construction time. It is where your character is stretched, your perception is refined, your identity is stabilized. Because the assignment you carry requires a version of you that cannot be rushed. Now let's go deeper. Because there is a real danger that comes with premature elevation. And most people don't talk about it. They only talk about breakthrough. They only talk about favor. But they don't talk about the cost of being seen before you are ready. Because when visibility comes without internal grounding, it exposes everything. Your insecurities, your unresolved wounds, your unprocessed patterns, and what could have been built in private now collapses in public. This is why some people rise fast and fall even faster. Because they were given access before they developed capacity. And capacity is what sustains elevation, not talent, not opportunity, not visibility, capacity. The ability to hold, manage, and remain stable within what you have been given. And this is why your process matters. Because your process is increasing your capacity. Every delay is strengthening something. Every closed door is redirecting something. Every moment of stillness is stabilizing something within you. But if you are constantly looking sideways, watching someone else's timeline, you will miss what is happening within your own. And this is where comparison becomes dangerous. Because comparison assumes that everyone is on the same path. But they're not. Comparison assumes that timing is universal. But it's not. Comparison assumes that what is meant for them should happen for you in the same way. But that's not how divine assignment works. Every assignment has its own sequence, its own preparation, its own timing. And when you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, or someone else's culmination, you create unnecessary pressure. You start forcing things that are not ready. You start doubting your own process. You start stepping out of alignment, trying to match a rhythm that was never designed for you. And this is how people delay themselves even further. Because instead of honoring their season, they resist it. Instead of building where they are, they try to escape where they are. But your current season has a purpose. Even if it doesn't look like progress externally, internally, something is being calibrated. Your discernment is sharpening. Your patience is deepening. Your identity is becoming less dependent on external validation. And that is critical, because if your identity is built on external validation, then your stability will always depend on external conditions, and that is not sustainable. True alignment means you remain grounded, regardless of what is happening around you. Now let's talk about something powerful. Divine sequencing is not competitive. It is collaborative. This is something many people don't understand. They see someone else's success, and they interpret it as being behind. But what if that person's elevation is actually part of your process? What if their harvest is preparing the environment for your planting? What if their visibility is opening doors that you will later walk through? Because in a true ecosystem, nothing exists in isolation. Everything is connected. Everything is flowing in sequence. And when you understand this, you stop competing and you start aligning. You stop envying and you start learning. You stop questioning your worth and you start trusting your timing. Because someone else's breakthrough does not take anything from you. It reveals what is possible. It shows you what alignment looks like in motion. And instead of resisting it, you can use it as confirmation that when your time comes, it will unfold just as precisely. But you have to be ready. And readiness is not just skill. It is internal alignment. It is emotional stability. It is mental clarity. It is spiritual grounding. Because the higher you go, the more stable you must be. Now here's how you know you are transitioning. There are markers, subtle shifts, moments where your thinking changes, where your reactions change, where what used to trigger you no longer has power over you, where you stop chasing and start moving with intention, where you feel less urgency and more clarity. These are signs that something is shifting, that you are moving from preparation into positioning. And when that happens, things begin to align differently. Opportunities appear, connections make sense, doors open without force. Because you are no longer trying to step into something prematurely. You are stepping into something prepared. And there is a difference. One requires effort and pressure. The other flows with alignment. So instead of asking, when is my time coming? Ask, am I becoming the version of myself that can sustain what I'm asking for? Because timing is not just about when, it's about who you are when it arrives, who you have become through the process, who you are capable of being consistently. And when those align, that's when manifestation becomes stable. Not temporary, not fragile, but grounded. And that is the goal. Not quick success, but sustainable reality. So if you feel like you're waiting right now, if you feel like others are moving ahead while you're still in the background, don't rush to escape the season. Master it. Because what you build now will determine how you stand later. And when your time comes, you won't just step into it. You will carry it with clarity, with stability, with purpose, because you were prepared for it. And that is the difference. This is Worldwide Truth Ecumenical Movement, where we align with truth beyond appearances and trust the deeper order behind every season. If this message resonated with you, take a moment and reflect. Where am I being prepared instead of delayed? And what within me is being built for what is coming? Stay aligned, stay grounded, and trust the sequence, because nothing about your journey is random. Everything is being arranged, and your moment will arrive exactly when you are ready to sustain it.